Now, down the years, Britain's excelled in the super middleweight division, so I wonder what's in store for Carl Froch. Remember, last year, he won a bronze medal at the World Amateur Championships. Well, his pro debut was against Michael Pinnock. That fight coming up. A little later, we'll see Matthew Thirlwell, who was also making his debut here. First, then, it's Carl Froch. Sitting ringside for us, it's Jim and Richie.
First round.
There's always a wonderful air of anticipation when an amateur star makes his professional debut, and Carl Froch in the silver trunks, and he's now calling himself, as so many professionals do, with a nickname. He's Carl the Cobra Froch from here on in, and he's making his professional debut. The first English boxer to win a medal in the World Senior Championships, something he achieved in Belfast in June of last year. And for the very first time since he started boxing as a teenager, he's in a ring without the headgear on, and he's got the seriously professional gloves on. His opponent, some 36 years old, Michael Pinnock from Aston, near Birmingham, from the Nobby Knob stable. And like everybody else from the Nobby Knob stable, well, to use the old boxing cliche, he comes to fight. We've seen Carl Froch win a couple of ABA titles, gold in multi-nations, World Championship bronze. But this, Richie Woodall, is the real business, and this must take you back.
Yes, certainly does. Froch, obviously, a lot of potential, big prospect, and we'll be looking to impress tonight. And that can be a problem. Doesn't want to over-impress here, but he's looking nice and sharp, and looks nice and relaxed, which is good. Because when you do first turn professional, you can be a little bit tight. But yeah, he's looking nice and sharp and relaxed.
He's been trained by Robert McCracken, and underneath his left eye there's a fair bit of old bruising, so he's been getting some aggressive sparring, it would seem.
Yeah, well, McCracken, another big friend of mine, and certainly knows the pro game inside out. Boxed for the WBC middleweight crown and British champion, so McCracken certainly knows his stuff. And in Froch, I think he's got an excellent pupil.
Got that left hand of his held very low, but he did that as an amateur, which is something very unamateurish. Most amateurs tend to hold the hands up very high indeed. This scheduled for a very gentle 6 3-minute rounds at super middleweight, and that's a pretty competitive division, so Froch is obviously setting his sights high.
Yeah, it is a hard and tough division, there's no doubt about that. Very exciting division at the moment, but Froch has certainly got the experience as an amateur, excellent amateur record, and we'll be hoping to take that onto the professional ranks.
Well, Michael Pinnock hasn't won too many contests, just a handful out of over 60, but he's only been stopped on 5 occasions. He's been in against a lot of good men like Neil Simpson and Tony Oakey, and the IBO World Super Middleweight Champion from Belfast, Brian McGee. And he's just the right sort of opponent for Carl Froch. Froch being, well, nice and casual and leisurely, moving out of the way of that fairly well-intentioned right hand, and that's a good bit of jabbing by Froch. He'd just up the work rate a little bit, but he'd be very happy with the opening 3 minutes of professional boxing, and the first bit of advice as a professional in his corner, in particular from Robert McCracken.
It was a good opening round for him, he won it comfortably enough.
Can't remember too many amateurs coming in for the pro debut with a shiner like that one, I've got to say, but I'm sure it was hard earned.
Seconds out, round 2.
So a nice leisurely opening 3 minutes of professional boxing from Carl Froch from Nottingham, now 24 years old, an amateur with the Phoenix Club, where he was coached by Dale McPhilbin. Won the 1999 and 2001 ABA titles at middleweight, and in Belfast last year in the semi-finals lost to the eventual gold medalist in the World Championships, Andrei Gogolev of Russia, who beat him 28-16 on the computer scoring system. But Froch did particularly well, and all the way through looked, as indeed did David Haid, that they were capable of winning medals.
Good leaping left hook there from Froch earlier on in the round. Wasn't too far away, didn't actually connect fully with the glove, but that was a much better right uppercut from Froch.
Wonderful variation, just fooled his man very slightly. A little feint with the left, and he came through and he caught the 36-year-old from Aston. Spot on with that right hand, and he's got him again with an over-the-top right hand. Pinnock, remember, just stopped 5 times. This is 65th professional contest. Froch looking very, very strong indeed. Pinnock having to cover up. Oh, there's that right hand again from Froch.
Let's go, work inside.
Well, a quiet first round from the newcomer, but indications in the second round that he's going to enjoy getting paid for his work. Pinnock leaning on.
Yeah, Pinnock, an old pro here, just using a bit of experience, but that was good work from Froch, just turning his opponent on the ropes there. That's good stuff. But Pinnock, he certainly wants to keep the fight close and try and literally crawl all over Froch, not letting him have the room and the distance to work those classy punches.
Good body shots by Carl Froch going in, and good footwork by him, getting on his bike when he had to. Pinnock starting to wobble a little bit. This is impressive stuff in the second round by Froch. 30 seconds to go.
Well, he looks so relaxed. You have to say that his hands are very low, but he's very sharp in the mind, which is good. And that left hand, it seems to be like a decoy punch. It's down by his thigh, and you just literally don't know where the punches are coming from. It's a good tactic from Froch.
There's a wee bit of a graze on the bridge of Froch's nose, and one hopes at this stage of his career that he's not going to be turned out somebody who's got rather fragile skin, but we worry about that when the time comes. But a very good piece of boxing in the middle of that second round by Froch, and I think he's got an awful lot in reserve. Well, they'll be pretty happy with that second 3 minutes of professional boxing from Carl Froch, and attending to that little nick. But this was good by Froch. Look at that wonderful uppercut right through, and kept on his man, and that's what he's got to do. You don't just throw a single punch in this game, Rich.
No, he didn't admire the punch. Certainly he went underneath and threw a lovely right uppercut, but then followed up with a lovely left jab, and here using right hand punches, and he's got great variation. Froch, very, very impressive.
Wonderful body shots by Froch, a couple of solid right hands into the ribs, and then moved nicely out of the way. Look at that, swayed back like an old professional himself. Very impressive.
Second out, round 3.
Well, 36-year-old Michael Pinnock from Birmingham, who boxes mostly at light heavy or cruiserweight, will probably go down as the first man on Carl Froch's record.